First of all, I would like to thank all the guys who was joining this panel today. For the Atlanta Falcons, we have Matt Ryan, the quarterback. We have Ricardo Allen at safety. For the Detroit Lions, we have Matthew Stafford at quarterback, and at safety, we have Duron Harmon. So thank you guys for your time. I know it's very valuable right now, especially during this season, but I want to get right into it. And the first thing I want to discuss is voting. Voting, how big it is in our country. We have elections coming up November 3rd. Early voting has already started. And with both of these teams, Atlanta Falcons and the Detroit Lions, you guys have made an organizational commitment to social justice. Y'all are working together to create a unified call to action leading to this game on Sunday that will encourage these NFL fans nationwide to exercise their right to vote on or before November 3rd. Now, in saying that, both of these organizations have come up with an initiative. For the Atlanta Falcons, it's Rise Up and Vote. For the Detroit Lions, it's Detroit Vote. I want you guys to speak a little bit about what you're trying to get done, what you're trying to accomplish with both of these initiatives. Matt Ryan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think, I speak for our social justice committee. We decided, when we were getting together during the offseason virtually and at the beginning of this season for us, that we wanted to, use all of our efforts to encourage people to get registered to vote. And then as we continue to push that message, we wanted people to get informed on who's running in local elections as well as at the federal level. So that's kind of been our push. We've had T-shirts made that guys have been wearing pregame. We've done an initiative of passing the vote, tossing it out to other players, other organizations, former players, guys, all across the spectrum of football to just get the message out for people to get registered. And at this point, to educate themselves. And as we're recording this, we still got 2 weeks to go until election day. So either get out and mail it in early voting, or get to the polls on November 3rd.
Matthew Stafford, when it comes to the Detroit Lions, what were you guys trying to get accomplished?
I think very similar things that Matt just touched on, just in our local community. I think awareness is one of the biggest things, and knowledge. I think being able to make sure that everybody's registered to vote that wants to be registered to vote. We've done everything we can, both on a team level and on a local level, to try and push that initiative. And at the same time, try to make information available for people to learn about the local, people that are going to be representing them or supposed to be representing them in their community, and also at the federal level. Duron and I sat on a panel earlier this offseason, and it was really cool. Secretary of State was on there, just a bunch of local leaders trying to find ways to spread the message and lead the people of Detroit into making a decision through voting.
Now, Duron and Rico, I'm going to take a different angle when I talk to you guys and get your replies. Leadership. We understand how big leadership is in our country, how big leadership is within an organization. You guys have two amazing leaders, and with the Falcons, Mr. Arthur Blank, and for the Detroit Lions, you have Sheila Hamp. And it's very important that they're standing side by side with you guys in this fight and with these initiatives. Starting with you, Rico, how important is it to have your leader, your owner of your team, side by side with you, fighting this fight and letting everyone know how important it is to vote in this country?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that, as an athlete who's worked their whole life to, become who we are, it's tough when, you don't want to end up in a situation like Kaepernick, that, it gets to a point that, you and the owner may not see eye to eye, and you end up, with your career on the line. And, with all that going, down, it was cool that Mr. Blank, was one of the first owners that came out and actually backed us. He actually, gave us dollar for dollar with, all of the donations that our team was doing, with all of the resources and all of the backing that we need. It was cool because Mr. Blank was one of the people who was actually pushing us to do it. So, for us to know that our careers wasn't on the line, we were able to do the impact of, the communities and being able to get and spread all the knowledge or resources that we could to the community. That was much easier than having to fight against, the people who's writing the checks to you. So, to be able to, have that relationship and have that bond is always been cool. And then, now with the election coming closer and, you know, the whole team kind of, you know, coming together with this as being one of the initiatives that we wanted to go with, it's been really good, because just as if, you know, when we first started with, you know, the social justice committee, he's been just as easy to back us for voting and making sure that, you know, we educate ourselves. And we brought in, you know, people like Rock the Vote to make sure that they educated us on, you know, every level of, you know, the government and things that, you know, we just wasn't, you know, brought up knowing. So that's been, you know, cool to just have a good community and feel good with everybody.
When it comes to you, Matt Stafford and Matt Ryan, you guys have built a close relationship. You guys are basically inseparable. And that's a great thing, because whenever you can find a friend like that and your family share a lot of the same values, it's great. But the both of you have also been very, very vocal in fighting for social injustice in our country, and especially in the state of Georgia. Matthew Stafford, you just recently donated $1.5 million to your alma mater, the University of Georgia, and part of which goes to social justice initiatives and scholarships for students in need. Matt Ryan, your Advancing the Lives of the Black Community fundraiser has raised over $1.3 million. First and foremost, I want to tell both of you guys, I really, really appreciate that 100%, because it means so much being a minority myself. Now, we're dealing with so much social injustice in our country. I want to know what triggered you guys to say, hey, there's more I can do. My teammates need me. Georgia needs me. This country needs me. The minority community needs me, and I need to take more action. I'll start with you, Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously I'm not unaware of what was going on in the country during this offseason. It was a unique time for everybody, kind of locked down and you know, grinding through the COVID pandemic, and just really allowed you to open your eyes to everything that was going on in this country. And there were some horrible things that needed to be addressed and helped. And we had amazing meetings, I'm sure, like a lot of teams did over Zoom through the off season, where you know, I got to, you know, talk and relate and hear stories from teammates that were eye-opening and at the same time disappointing. And, you know, just, I hate that guys on my team had to go through those things. And Kelly and I sat down and realized we wanted to make a difference any way we could. We've done some things here in the city of Detroit, but she's from Atlanta. I went to Georgia, like you said, so it's kind of our second home. We spend the off seasons there, so we wanted to find a way to you know, impact you know, young people's lives in the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia. You know, giving back to Georgia was just one of those ways that we thought made sense. You know, we thought you know, people in college at that age are very impressionable, and you can make a huge difference on people's lives at that age. You know, obviously, University of Georgia did a great job in helping create this program that's, you know, going to help educate and lead student athletes, you know, far after they're gone from the university. But it was just something that we wanted to do. We felt like we needed to do it. We wanted to do it, and it's something that I'm sure will be extremely rewarding down the road.
Matt Ryan, what triggered you to want to take more action into fighting for this cause?
Yeah, I think, like Matthew mentioned, we were all kind of aware of the unrest that was going on during the offseason. And it was similar for us. We were on a Zoom call, you know, I think maybe a week after George Floyd's death, and kind of talking or just really listening to teammates and their reactions. And just, you know, for me, I had been in these kind of meetings before, and I've always felt like, you know, I had my friends or teammates' backs, but it was always kind of in a silent way. You know, it was like, hey man, you know, I think this is messed up, but it was never really in a public manner. And I think one of the things, you know, that I continued to hear during those meetings was that, you know, it's going to take all of us from different races across the spectrum to make the change that we want. And we all have to pull our weight in any way that we can if we want to make a difference. And so for me, you know, I was, you know, talking with my wife, Sarah, about, you know, what can we do? And, you know, let's try and, you know, donate some money and raise some money to find out, you know, where we can make an impact on this. And we had a lot of meetings with a lot of different, you know, people from across the board in the city of Atlanta, and kind of have focused our, you know, our energy on, you know, after school programs. And one of the things we found out as we dove deeper into it was that You know, for every spot available in an after school program, there were 2 kids that needed it, right? So there was just 50% of what was actually needed in the city of Atlanta for these kids. And you know, so many of us are at the place that we're at because of positive influences that we've had, mentors, whether it was coaches, uncles, parents, etc., that guided us in the right direction. And for a lot of people, you know, they need somewhere to go after school, somewhere to, you know, push them in the classroom or to help them out in sports or whatever that may be. But there's already some amazing programs that are going. We just want to fund them, give them sustainability for the near future, and increase, you know, the number of kids that they can touch. And it's only the start for us, but you know, we're really committed to trying to fight inequality where it starts, and that's at the youth, you know, at the youth level. And so we're excited about that. We feel like we can make a difference, and we're committed to, you know, helping out as much as we can in the future.
Duron, I got 2 things for you.
Okay.
How important is it for you, being an African-American, being a minority, and seeing your quarterback, Matthew Stafford, who happens to be a white male, come out and be vocal, not only being vocal, but showing action, taking the action to take the proper steps for this thing to get right? How important is that?
It's very important, because I know what, you know, when Matt Ryan and, you know, when Matt, they both talked about, you know, just going out there and saying it in front of people, you know, saying that, you know, there is white privilege, saying that there is police brutality, saying that there is, you know, social injustice, because you can notice something, but if you don't point it out and talk about it, then what good is it? And then you have Matt out there, you know, he did his player tribute talking about, obviously when he was throwing the ball at a field, and when it was just him and the white guys, it was all good. But as soon as he brung, you know, some black guys, it's a problem. Like, just going out there and letting people know that there is a problem that we have, and then having them just back you, you know, not only just talking about it, being about it, like seeing him kneeling with other players on our team. Like, I know that's putting Matt in a tough situation. You know, people coming at him saying he don't love his country, he don't love this, but he know how important it is, not only for this country, but for his brothers on the team, how important it is for us to see that he's backing us, not only on the football field, but as men as well. So it's very important, and I'm appreciative of what he does, not only for, you know, the country, but for our team.
And what are some of the things that you're doing with your platform to try to fight these injustices that's going on in our country?
Well, doing a lot of different things. Like Matt said, coming on different panels, you know, talking about the importance of voting. Then also, you know, I'm a part of the Players Coalition, always trying to create change amongst these social injustices that we have, always fighting, working with the PAL League as well, you know, just different things that I can try to do to help. The Detroit Lions, I mean, we're doing a good job of just continue to, you know, work on raising awareness for the, you know, the social divide. I'm working also with Rocket Mortgage right now, coming up with a plan for the digital divide. You know, right now we're in a point of time where we're learning remotely. Kids are going to school, and being in Detroit, you know, a city that's very poor, we're going to be completely honest, that's a Black city, 84%, you know, African-American, there's a big divide here when we're talking about, you know, a digital divide. You got, I think it's like 40% of the homes in Detroit, or 50% of the homes, something like that, who don't have Wi-Fi. You know, it's people who don't have computers. You know, the only source of internet they have is a cell phone. Like, how can kids do their work on a cell phone? So, you know, trying to do a lot, because it's a lot to be done. If we're being, you know, quite frank, it's too much to be done, but I'm attacking from all different levels because it's very, very important to me and the Detroit Lions as well.
Ricardo, what are some of the things that you're doing with your platform to try to fight these injustices that we have in this country?
Yeah, just, you know, bouncing off the same thing that, you know, Matt was saying. And, you know, it's just like, just being one of the cool things for me was being one of the first people to be like one of the leaders and the founders of the Falcons Social Justice Committee. And one of the things that we did research on was this year, you know, with the pandemic, most of the polling and most of the, you know, the polls were, you know, typically held by elder people. You know, they were typically ran by, you know, the elderly. And because of the pandemic and things that have been going on, you know, it was a big cut in, you know, people being able to work the polls this year. So one of the things that our team came up with was partnering with high schools and, you know, encouraging the high schools to be the leaders in their town, to be able to be the ones to get, you know, them and themselves registered, to even in the economic times that we're in right now, to even be able to bring some money into their families, into the household too. So they were going to be able to get out, run the polls, educate themselves, even though they may not be old enough to, you know, vote. It's just something about being in the area and watching how important, you know, voting really is for your town and for your community, and just being able to, you know, do that, to be able to give back to your community. So, you know, that has been one of the cool things. And, you know, I was always big in helping with, you know, partnering with like reentry centers and, you know, jail systems and stuff like that, and just going in there to try to inspire, you know, the people who are in there, because a lot of the times it's just, you know, one bad mistake can get you behind bars for a long time. So just trying to, you know, encourage them to, you know, always try to teach them how to, you know, get it economically, because a lot of the times where we come from, we the first people in our families to ever make money. So we really the only ones who know, you know, some of the, you know, traits and some of the qualities that you can give to a person to empower them to, you know, feel that they can go make money for their family, so they don't have to go put themselves in bad situations. So always just trying to like give as much education as I can to the next, you know, the next people, you know, and just, you know, whatever I can, in any panel I can get on to talk on, or any way I can try to, you know, raise, you know, awareness of, you know, the injustices that we do have, and, you know, a lot of the divide that we do have. I always try to make sure I can, you know, lend my little bit of knowledge and time that I do have.
All right, guys, last thing, we have 2 to 3 minutes left. Now on Sunday, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. will be the honorary captain for the game. With both cities being at the center of the civil rights movement, Atlanta, the hometown and the center of his work. I actually went to Ebenezer Baptist Church when I first moved here to Atlanta, one of the homes of Dr. King, and he gave his first rendition speech. I Have a Dream speech in Detroit, in addition to other important work there. When you see Dr. King is going to be the honorary captain for this game, then you turn around and look at how we're fighting for certain things in this country, and the same things that he preached about. When you see our country now versus our country back then, where do you see our country? And whoever wants to take this, they can take it.
I would say still a work in progress. I mean, at the end of the day, he had a dream, you know, but he never said how long the dream would take. You know, we're trying to unfold, you know, hundreds of years of history. Like, if we're being completely honest, you know, this country was built on slavery, on racism, on hate. So for us, having the platform that we have to remember what he was fighting for and continue to fight for the same things today, because we're not there yet. It's evident. The police brutality, the social injustice, like, it's there, it's still there. Is it as blatant as it was, you know, with the poll taxes and, you know, riding in the back of the buses? No, but it's still there because it's a part of our history. And until we get the proper people in powerful positions, people who are going to do it the right way and open doors for everybody, not just, you know, white people or black, but for everybody, give everybody an equal opportunity, we're going to always be fighting. But it's our job and it's our duty as, you know, NFL players and people of this stature to continue to raise awareness for people who don't have a voice. And that's why I'm adamant about continuing to raise awareness for everything that we're fighting for today.
I think that was well said. Fellas, I want to thank you once again for your time. Everyone watching, tune in Sunday at 1 p.m. Falcons versus Lions. You guys have a good one. Thank you once again.